Okay, here's what's happened. Yesterday's episode has only been uploaded for about, I guess 2.5 hours or so. In fact, the sun is still up. In other words, it's still yesterday. And I've read some of the comments, and one of the comments sort of caught my imagination, you might say. And he said, why not try varnishing these? Well, I don't have any plain old varnish, but I do have this wipe on poly. And then I was thinking, well, how about if I was to take a glue stick and embed the glue in the line, and then comb it all in the same direction? Would maybe that work as well? So I'm going to try both of them, let them dry overnight, and then we'll see what we've got in the morning. The reason I've got it like this is because you might remember in yesterday's episode I mentioned that I thought that possibly they might come out better more going in one direction than the other. So I've got the line looping around like this, and if I just take both of these lines and wipe them down like this, I'm in effect doing one in one direction and the other in the other. So that's what this is all about. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll let it dry overnight, and we'll stick the macro lens on tomorrow morning and see what we've got. Okay, I've already done the glue stick. Let's just try the polyurethane. It's not going to take very much here. Get a little on my fingers, I think. I can still see, looking at this one, you probably can't see it, but it's still pretty frizzy right there. So I don't know how this is going to do. I could have probably used something like Tight Bond 3 here too as well, or a Gorilla Glue or something. Make sure it's saturated really good here. Okay, there we go. And like I said before, we'll see how it looks in the morning. And Noel, thanks for the idea. I just got an email from a friend of mine who also lives here in Winnipeg, and this email contained a link to another Bismarck model that has been built. Now this model is twice as big as the one we're building here. It's to 100 scale. The one we're building is to 200 scale. Anyway, it's worth taking a look at. This guy builds it out of everything except plastic, as near as I can tell anyway. Worth looking at, especially if you're into model building, and especially if you're into building the model Bismarck. I'm going to try and remember to put the links to Pierre's My Bismarck in the comments below in this episode. Okay, here we are in the world of warships CGI. And when we zoom into this area here where we are working, what I am not seeing is the line coming from up here to right here. Doesn't mean it wasn't there. It just means that they don't have it. Now, they do have this one, of course. And in all likelihood, they may rather have others that we're not going to be putting in. But I just found that interesting that they do not have the line from right here to right up here. I have spent about an hour or more going through actual photographs of the Bismarck, and I have concluded that in all likelihood the CGI from the world of warships is correct. Now, this is going by the photographs as they were taken at that time. It doesn't mean that later on the line wasn't added. Except for one photograph. I'll show it to you. It threw me for a bit. And here we are in that photograph. And you will notice there appears to be a line coming from here going up. Now I know the perspective is almost backwards here, but this line would be going up. It appears to right here. But actually, I believe it is actually this line right here from this lower boom, not this upper boom. The reason I believe that is because if you follow this boom along right to the other end, there is no line going in a straight line from this end straight down to here. Okay, and there would be. So in other words, this line that we're seeing that appears like there was one, actually is just, if you continue on that same line, it actually fastens down here, not up here. Anyway, let's not beat this to death here. Looking at my clock right now, I'm realizing that about 15 hours has passed since we put our wipe on poly on this line. And our glue, you know, I was noticing this glue stick is getting pretty hard, but I think I worked it in onto this one. So let's take these off, stretch them out, get the macro lens on, and see, did we improve anything or not? This one looks pretty good in places, but then so does this. So and all we need is about this much. You know, yeah, we don't need a whole lot of it, just that much. I was just thinking here, it's possible that somebody does not know what wipe on poly is. And just let me clean up a little bit here, and we'll give you a friendly reminder of what this stuff will do. How many of you can remember the jumbo segmented bowl? Remember, it was an experiment to see what is the largest bowl I could turn on my lathe downstairs, easily that is, and this was it. And we made this the winter of 1718, so that would be, what, 2.5 years ago now? Yeah, and this bowl is treated with the wipe on poly. In fact, right from that tin, actually. Well, I guess you know what we're using. And my plan is, I'm just going to sort of kind of sop it on with this disposable brush here, and then wipe the excess off with this rag. And the final coat, I'll use a lint-free rag. Anyway, let's see what it's going to look like here. And what it does is it gives you a nice sort of hand-rubbed finish or look, but you don't brush it on, you wipe it on with a rag. And if I remember right, we did about, I think, 5 or 6 applications. If you're interested, just go back and look for the series on the jumbo segmented bowl. And it stood up pretty good here. I don't see any real bad gouges or nicks on it yet. And I've used it, you know, to throw the remotes in for the TV and stuff like that. At least I used to. The top 2 lines are the glue, and the bottom 2 lines are the poly. And, well, it was an idea. I thought it would work better than this. But I do think it's improved, and I do think that the very bottom line might be usable. You know, who's going to be looking at it with a macro lens? Now, I would think that unless we really twist on this piece here, it's not going to break off. It's not going to bend. It's fairly strong. And it's going to give this piece here, which is not strong, tremendous support. I want you to notice how stiff this thread is because it's been treated with that poly. Now, I had thought of extruding some plastic, and I probably would have ended up with the same idea, but it wouldn't have looked as realistic. This will look like a cable or rope. Okay, here's our thread that has been treated with the poly. And all we need is about an inch of it to go from the one place to the other here. You know, just find a place that looks the best. And like I say, I think it's going to really strengthen that. Yeah, so Neil, your idea actually did work. Okay, I've changed the angle a little bit here. I think maybe you can see slightly better. You're actually looking down on everything. The smaller boom is a tiny bit higher than the this one. Now, what I want to try to do, if I can, is get this threaded through here. Okay. Now, my thinking is, instead of having it draped over top of the boom and then glue it to the top, it might look a little better. Wait till I find something else here. If I sort of have it going from the underside of the boom to the underside of this one. That's my thinking. So I think what we'll do here, I'm just going to reposition everything so I can reach in there. I'm actually reaching over way too far, and it doesn't feel good. Now let's assume I was to glue this right there. Okay, so let's do that. I'll stick the macro lens on. Okay, I don't have any glue on the applicator yet, but I want to bring this line just back so that it's against this part right here. In other words, it's towards us as much as it can go. And then I think if I could glue it up from the right there maybe. What I need is something to hold this way. I could, yeah. Okay, let's just drop it down on there and let it wick its way underneath the boom. Don't know if I got it. Maybe I'll put some on this side here. There. Pretty sure we got it now. And then what we'll do is we'll cut off the excess line there that's going by Ian's thumb later. Well, let's let that cure and see what we got. Now, because it's so stiff, it pretty much wants to go at a straight line. It's not like we have to, pull it taut or anything. We just have to hold it up here at the right angle. See if I can get Ian to come around this side. Now, I realize from your perspective, you can see the up and down bend, but you can't see the this way bend. And try and bend it just a little bit more this way so that it's going to be straight. I have this almost uncontrollable feeling like I want to poke at it and see if it's cured, but I don't think I better. I'm sure this one is. Well, we'll check it out in the next episode. Thanks for watching, and all being well, We'll see you tomorrow.